Join me for the Richmond Rose Parade, Sunday at 4:30.
Now, live from the studios of 1290 WHIO, your chance to take part in the Miami Valley's only midday radio talk forum. 1290 WHIO and Television 7 proudly present this simulcast segment of the Mike Scinto Show.
And good morning for those just joining us. A little different setting. In fact, I have to change what the announcer said at the opening of the show. They said, coming to you from the studios of 1290 WHIO Radio. Not exactly true. We're in the studios of Television 7 through the facilities of WHIO Radio today, trying something a little different. And as you can probably see, there are some folks here, as you'll be seeing, participating in the program. We've invited a few of our friends who listen and watch the program to participate today because we have a very special show for you. A gentleman by the name of Mike Follin from the Ohio Historical Society who visited with us during the first portion of the show. But Mike isn't going to be with us too long. Mike is going to step out of the way and make way for a gentleman by the name of Dr. Thelonious, say that 20 times, Thelonious Balthazar. And Dr. Balthazar puts on, well, let's just say a unique show, and we hope that there are no real suckers in the audience who are going to buy any of this. But we'll find out as the Mike Scinto Show continues, coming to you live from the facilities of Television 7 and the studios of 1290 WHIO or something like that, and we're going to show you how you can participate.
You can take part in the Mike Scinto Show by calling 457-1290 or toll free anywhere in Ohio, 1-800-345-1290.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed fortunate, my good friends, because, you see, there are those who have been saying that I am here to purloin your pocket, sir, but that is not the truth. No, indeed, good woman, you scoff, you laugh. Why, I'm not here to pick the bread from the mouths of your children. No, indeed, I am here to help the dregs of society. Oh, my friends, as I travel about this vast countryside, let me say to you that humanity is in a sorry state, and as I gaze upon this august congregation, let me say that that statement is indeed reinforced. Let me tell you, my friends, that there are those out there suffering from dread diseases and ailments of which they don't even know, good sir. Yes, indeed, I can see in your eyes, sir, that your time is but limited. Oh, good, yes, hang your head, sir, I would too, for I know what's caused it. Yes, indeed, my friends, but let me say to you that there is something far worse, good sir, than disease and ailment. Do you know what the bane upon society is today, sir?
Who, me?
Yes, indeed, sir. I can see that you do indeed know. How many of you are married? Yes, indeed, or at least will admit to it. Yes, indeed. Well, do you have children, sir?
Yes.
Do you have a daughter of marrying age?
Yes.
Is she married?
Yes.
Does she have children?
Yes.
Did she marry a good man?
Yes.
Aren't you glad? Yes, indeed, sir, but let me tell you the problem. The problem is, my friend, men in uniform. Oh, yes, indeed, those men who go about defending our country do not indeed, sir, defend virtue among our young women. No, indeed, my friends, let me say to you that indeed, young woman, if you are in the market for a husband, beware of a man in uniform. Oh, good woman, let me give to you a piece of advice, age-old advice. Yes, indeed, my friend, so that you won't think that I am here to purloin your purse. You don't believe that, do you, madam? No, indeed. Taken with words, are you? Well, let me say to you, this piece of advice is a very old song, my friend, but it gives a good piece of advice. Listen well, good lady, that you might pass this on to your children and your grandchildren. There was a young woman who met a soldier, and indeed, my friends, this is what she said. Well, soldier, soldier, would you marry me now to the beat of pipe and drum? And how can I marry such a pretty little girl when I have no boots to put on? Well, she went right down to her granddaddy's chest as fast as she could run. And she got him some boots of the very, very best, and the soldier boy put them on. Well, soldier, soldier, would you marry me now to the beat of the pipe and drum? And how can I marry such a pretty little girl when I have no pants to put on? Well, she went right down to her granddaddy's chest as fast as she could run. And she got him some pants of the very, very best, and the soldier boy put them on. Well, soldier, soldier, would you marry me now to the beat of the pipe and drum? And how can I marry such a pretty little girl when I have no coat to put on? Well, she went right down to her granddaddy's chest as fast as she could run. And she got him a coat of the very, very best, and the soldier boy put it on. Well, soldier, soldier, would you marry me now to the beat of the pipe and drum? And how can I marry such a pretty little girl when I have no hat to put on? Well, she went right down to her granddaddy's chest as fast as she could run. And she got him a hat of the very, very best, and the soldier boy put it on. Well, soldier, soldier, would you marry me now to the beat of the fife and drum? And how can I marry such a pretty little girl when I have a wife and 5 children at home? Yes, indeed, my friends, that is the bane upon society. But now, that which you have come for, my friends, this marvelous miracle elixir. You see before you, my friends, within the palm of my hand, a marvel to the medical world, a miracle of scientific discovery, and a fantastic fact of phenomenal proportion. What is that fact, you say, sir? Well, the fact is that right here within the palm of my hand, contained within this bottle, is the very essence of the cosmos, the very elixir of life itself, a veritable fount of procedures, pusillanimous potions put together in such preponderous proportions, the likes of which you've never seen before, the likes of which you'll never see again. And, good sir, it cures everything from a common cold to a death of 2 weeks standing, and you, sir, look like you're in the final week. But have no fear, Dr. Balthazar is here. Yes, indeed, good sir, tremble not, for I am here. I will pull you back from the brink, as I have many thousands. Yes, indeed, my friends, let me say that this marvelous miracle medicine cures everything from a common cold to a death of 2 weeks standing, and all bodily ailments such as consumption, dyspepsia, sciatica, quinsy, catarrh, chilblain, summer complaint, and gout. And indeed, with the humid weather that is on us, madam, you know about summer complaint, do you not? Yes, indeed, I thought so. Well, my friends, let me say to you not only that, but it rejuvenates and revitalizes the inner mind and organs. And oh, good sir, if anybody needs their mind revitalized, 'tis you, sir. Yes, I can see that it has been dormant for quite some time. But good sir, have no fear, Dr. Balthazar is here. Yes, indeed, not only that, my friends, but let me say that I can see some of you have dark clouds of doubt cluttering up the knowledgeable corners of your gray matter. Is that right, madam? You're wondering where I came upon this marvelous miracle medicine. Is that true?
Right.
Yes, indeed. Well, madam, I'm about to brush away those clouds of doubt. Yes, indeed, I'm about to enlighten you and to raise you from the depths of the cultural depravity into which you obviously have sunk. Yes, indeed, my friends. You see, a few years ago I was trekking across the vast continent of Tibet when I was suddenly engulfed in a great avalanche of snow, which there seems to be a great abundance of in that country. And there it was that I would have perished and buried under tons and tons of the white stuff had it not been for a very wise and old sage who happened to be out selling that very rare species, mountainous cotus. And it was with his help that I drank this marvelous miracle medicine known only then as an ancient Tibetan recipe, and was instantaneously rejuvenated and revitalized, and stand before you the man I am today. A veritable fount of masculinity and virility, not to mention a handsome profile of which some of us could stand to have changed. But, good sir, I can do that all for the small price of $1. Now, that's a small price to pay for a new lease on life, isn't it, sir?
Sure is.
I beg your pardon, sir, would you speak up?
It sure is.
It sure is. Yes, indeed, sir. I'm so glad that you agree. Not only that, sir, but I see that you're wearing spectacles. For shame, sir. We know what disease causes that and what evil and awful practice. And if you don't stop, sir, you shall surely go insane or blind, one of the two. Oh, good sir, let me tell you, this marvelous miracle medicine is indeed your answer. Oh, good friends, let me say to you that thousands have been put to rest with this marvelous miracle medicine. Those who felt their case was hopeless. Oh, madam, you scoff. Let me say to you, madam, that those who laugh do indeed laugh last. In fact, their last laugh, for they are indeed planted, madam. Yes, indeed, good friends, let me say to you that this marvelous miracle medicine is for the young and the old. It's for man or beast, and lady, if this gentleman fits into either category, it'll cure whatever ails him. Yes, indeed, good sir, for your aches and pains, for your rheumatism, for your arthritis. Oh, my friends, this marvelous miracle medicine cures that feeling of impending doom, as if something dreadful were about to happen. It also cures that feeling of fullness, like bloating after eating, my friends. Gross, madam? Indeed, but that might be your fate.
Well, believe it or not, folks, this is the Mike Scinto Show. I haven't been cured yet, but who knows, I may, and you may be too. Coming to you live from the studios of Television 7 and the facilities of 1290 WHIO Radio, this is the Mike Scinto Show. Couple of things before we get back to it. You are listening to and watching the Mike Scinto Show on 1290 WHIO Radio and Television 7. We are in the midst of a recreation of a medicine show, very similar to what went on in Ohio and across the country at the turn of the century. We're going to share some more of that with you in just a moment. I want you to get pencils and papers if you're interested in the show or the educational programs put on by the Ohio Historical Society, of which Mike Follin, who was here a little while ago, is a member. Be ready to have your pencils and papers ready. We'll give you some phone numbers. And once again, Dr. Thelonious Balthazar.
Yes, indeed, my good friends. You scoff, madam. I can see that I have not yet cleared your mind. Well, madam, let me point out something to you that is absolutely horrible and disgusting. You've been wondering, madam, what is in these jars up here? Yes, indeed. In fact, some of you have questioned. Well, my friends, I'm about to tell you what, in fact, these jars contain. Those of you who are faint of heart, I would caution, my friends, these are my former patients. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, madam, don't fall out of your seat. Indeed, these are my former patients. You gasp and say, how dare you, sir? How dare you say to me that those are former patients? Well, madam, let me tell you the terrible tale. You see, my good friends, this gentleman right here who now stares back at you from this jar. Yes, indeed, no doubt he had a great deal in common with some of you and still does. For this gentleman, like some of you, is pickled. Yes, indeed, my friends, but you see, his eyes now stare back at you through glass. Yes, indeed, because you see, madam and sir, he scoffed as you are scoffing. Once upon a time, he wore glasses as you do. He still does, sir. Yes, indeed, only now he sees through a haze. Yes, and don't take them off, sir. I already know the cause. Yes, indeed, let me say to you, good sir, that this gentleman was taken with a horrible and dread disease, so disgusting and so horrible that I dare not speak it in front of the young ladies in the crowd. But, sir, let me say that such could be your fate. This gentleman, upon his deathbed, crying out in extreme agony and excruciating pain as he writhed and twisted and turned. And it was a most disgusting sight, sir. He said to me, good doctor, would that you would pluck forth from my sweaty brow my eyes, that they may stare upon humanity for eternity, and warn others against the fate that has befallen me. Had I listened to your talk and to your warnings, I would not be in such a state. Do you hear me, sir? Cast not down your eyes. Look me in the eyes, sir. Yes, indeed, and know that I speak the truth. And you, sir, gazing from a distance, oh, yes, you, sir, and you, sir, stare not straight ahead, for I know inside your mind is going the same thoughts. Oh, my friends, let me say to you, the road of life is fraught with danger, disease, debauchery, and decadence. Oh, my friends, how many of you have the good book within your home? Heathens, all of you. Yes, indeed, my friends. Do you not believe that it is the armor of the Lord? Indeed, you have to think about that, madam. You're in a more sorry state than I realize. Let me tell you, my friends, if you have the armor of the Lord in your home, then why would you be without Doc Balthazar's marvelous miracle medicine, which is the armor of the physical soul? Yes, indeed, sir. Does that make sense to you? Is that not logical? Indeed, sir. You have to stop and think about it. Oh, good sir, your thought processes are mucked. Yes, indeed, they are mottled. Yes, madam, and you're agreeing with me. Is that not true? Do you know this gentleman? Let me prove to you. Is this your wife, sir?
Yes.
Indeed, you had to look at her, didn't you, sir? Yes, indeed, your memory is far worse than you realize. Let me prove to you, good sir, how terrible your mind is. When is your wife's birthday? There you have it, my friends, a clear-cut loss of memory. Not only that, but the gentleman need turn and look at this woman to see whether or not it is his wife. And how long have you been sitting there, sir? Nearly 3/4 of an hour. And you still don't realize who she is. Oh, good sir, let me say to you that you need 2 bottles. One for the bumps and bruises you shall surely get when you get home, and the other one for your memory. And not only that, but you, good sir. Yes, indeed, you. When was the last time that you ran your fingers through a full head of hair, sir? And I'm talking about your own. Well, good sir, let me say to you, and for those of you who notice this gentleman, he has not lost his hair. Oh, yes, madam, wipe your eyes. It does bring a tear to the eyes, does it not, when the truth is revealed to you? Yes, indeed. Is it your salvation, is it not? Well, dig into your pocketbook and bring forth the money. Yes, indeed, my friends, for the small price of $1, you can have that alleviated. Let me tell you, sir, about your hair. You see, the fact of the matter is that you've not lost it, sir. The fact of the matter is that you have expanded your cranial knowledge at such a rate that it's pushing up through the hair follicles, making them appear thin, while they are indeed laying just beneath the surface, sir. Yes, indeed. Let me say to you that if you take a bottle of this marvelous miracle medicine and you apply it in the right spot 2 or 3 times a day, once again you will have a marvelous head of hair. Yes, indeed, it'll speed up the growth of those hair follicles. It'll catch up with your cranial growth, and you'll have a marvelous head of hair like this gentleman right here. Now, sir, isn't that worth the small price of $1?
Sure is.
I'll buy it.
Indeed, madam, let me say to you that it will put a new man into your life. Yes, indeed, for the small price of $1. $1, madam, but you'll take 4 bottles. Yes, indeed. Let me say to you, my friends, that many a marriage has been saved because of this marvelous miracle medicine. Oh, good people, I can see that some of you still doubt. Well, let me say to you that there are those in other communities surrounding you which have experienced the powers of Doc Balthazar's. I have here a letter from a lady in Troy. Anybody here from Troy? Good. Dear Doc Balthazar, I simply want to write to you and thank you for your marvelous miracle medicine. When you came to town, I was feeble-minded, weak-kneed, and suffered from loss of memory. Oh, good sir, she was much like yourself. But after just 2 bottles, or was it 3? Well, never mind. My mind is renewed and revitalized and like a steel trap, and all thanks to you, Dr. Thelonious Balthazar, and your marvelous miracle medicine. Sincerely yours, I am Troy, Ohio. There you have it, my friends. A clear-cut testimonial as to the powers of Doc Balthazar's marvelous miracle medicine. Oh, my friends, would you go on down the path of life not having Doc Balthazar's marvelous miracle medicine? Oh, good friends, let me say to you that if you choose to go your way, then, madam, the fate rests upon your shoulders, for I have done what I set out to do. I have brought to this community, such wretched as it is, this marvelous miracle medicine. I have endeavored to lift you up to heaven's gates, but, madam, if you do not take this marvelous miracle medicine to heart, then so be it. Oh, my friends, I say to you, no longer submit yourself to the barbarous practices of bleeding and blistering issues and thetans. No longer douse yourself with calomel and other properties, promising the properties of Doc Balthazar's. Would you do that, sir? Are you a man who goes by that wretched medicine prescribed by physicians? Not only that, sir, but your mind is stymied. I can see, sir. Yes, indeed. Your vocal cords paralyzed. Madam, I would say to make sure that his affairs are in order, for unless you buy at least 3 bottles, he's not long for this world. No, indeed, good friends. Let me say to you that physicians of the highest rank, to pay their fees, you'd need a bank. But for Doc Balthazar's marvelous miracle medicine, you need but $1 small. $1 small for a new lease on life and a step into... Visa, sir? I know nothing about Visa. I take cold, hard cash. Let me tell you, my friends, that if you forget all else that I've said, if you remember not my words of warning, good friends, I beg of you to remember this. Beware of quack doctors, for they shall take your money and leave you not. Doc Balthazar's, yes, that's the way. You should surely buy it. Just 1 bottle, that's the way. Now, aren't you glad you tried it? Marvelous miracle medicine, cures aches and pains and shivers. Cures dyspepsia, bad breath too, and rejuvenates your liver. Bump your head and twist your back. Does your willpower fail you? Just 1 bottle, that's the way. It will cure all that ails you. Marvelous miracle medicine, cures aches and pains and shivers. Cures dyspepsia, bad breath too, and rejuvenates your liver. I'll schedule you for an appointment, sir.
You're listening to and watching the Mike Scinto Show on 1290 WHIO Radio and coming to you from the facilities of Television 7. All right, to say the least, I think an interesting show. Would you agree, folks here? Yeah. All right. What did you think of it?
I loved it.
What did you like about it? He made fun of you.
Oh, but it was different.
Did you feel like a sucker?
No, I enjoyed it immensely. It reminded me of seeing one when I was younger.
I won't ask you, sir, if you felt like a sucker.
No, I'd like to buy a bottle.
Wants a couple of crates. Do you ever get that reaction, Mike? This is Mike Follin, by the way, is his real name. The folks here in the audience who were watching News Center 7 at 9 did not get a chance to meet him as Mike Follin. This is Mike Follin from the Ohio Historical Society. And what do you do, Mike?
I'm what they call an interpretive education specialist, and what I do is interpret history for folks. In other words, I take those dead, dull, dry facts of which we all have a preconceived idea that history is, and turn them into living history. Both for adults, senior citizens, children.
We're in just a couple of minutes we have left. I promised folks that we would give them some phone numbers if they are interested in talking to you or maybe scheduling Dr. Balthazar, and I'm sure you can get in touch with him. What's the number?
The number is area code 614-297-2634. That's my office number.
Okay. And if they want to schedule the educational programs, and during the radio portion we talked about the Ohio Historical Society and a vast array of educational programs. We do have a minute or so. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Who does it appeal to, and what kind of programs?
Very briefly, this summer we're emphasizing children's programs. So at the Dunbar House here in Dayton, the Piqua Historical Area in Piqua, and Fort Ancient down by Lebanon, we have 3 very special children's programs, and I won't take the time to explain them now, except that Lebanon, we have one that deals with archaeology. At Dunbar House, we're inspiring young authors and poets, since that's Paul Laurence Dunbar's home. It's called Stories Matilda Told Me. And then at Pickwa, we have Life on the Farm, 1820 to 1840, and that's really for all age groups. They last 9 to 1, 4 days a week. You can call 614-297-2606 to schedule those, and the last time I looked at the board, we still had openings. We only can take up to 20 people, so I would encourage you to schedule quickly.
And you mentioned for the folks here in the Dayton area, what's coming up real soon? Country Days?
Oh, yes. Over at the Ohio Village at Columbus, which is right across from the State Fairgrounds, we have our Country Fair, which is the recreation of a mid-19th century country fair. And you will see Dr. Balthazar in all of his glory there, plus a whole sideshow. We're going to have also antique fire engines this year there, and you will see pie baking. What you're really going to see is the recreation of a 19th century fair in all of its glory and splendor. So it's going to be a delightful time. It runs 2 days. It's the I want to say the 22nd and 23rd. It's the third weekend, I know that.
If folks call...
Yeah, call that 2606 number. They can give you that.
297-2606 area code.
Last year it fell on my birthday. That's why I know it was the 23rd and 24th.
We've got about a minute. 30 seconds. How'd you get into this? How did I
get into it? I was... in a group of singers, dancers, and actors that we have at the Historical Society. They needed somebody to do a medicine show. I said, I can do that. I've had theater background, and from there I went on to get a master's in history and folklore from Ohio State University, and here I am.
All right. Thanks for coming down. Will this help? Will this help?
In your case, it'll take 2 or 3 bottles. Yes,
I guess
indeed.
a whole crate. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to you for coming out today. On the radio side, at 10 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the FBI going through your mail. We're going to be talking about whether they have a right to do it or not, a case going on out west. And on Monday, Ike Pappas will be on to talk about a new show, veteran newsman, if the name rings a bell, to talk about a new show called Crime Watch. Those are as big as the Cosby Show, and it's a new concept where we help catch criminals. Hey, go out there and have a really safe, great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.
This simulcast segment of the Mike Scinto Show was a presentation of 1290 WHIO Radio and Television 7. Join us Monday morning for another exciting guest and conversation. The Mike Scinto Show can be heard weekdays from 9 till 1 on AM 1290 WHIO.